beds. Break you in, damn. Yeah, this every day. Got my heart, no in the beds. Break you in, damn. Yeah, this every day.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Freestyle Pod. I'm your host, and my name is Mike. We're going to be having great sit-down conversations with people, getting to know all different types of people. Something I forgot to mention at the start of the other show is that if you're an artist and you want to come on this show, take advantage of this great opportunity. We're going to be pumping out great content and the freestyles after. Great opportunity if you're an artist, can really help your career. I'm hoping that people can come in here, maybe do a freestyle, the whole podcast and everything, and it could help their career take off, promote an album, things like that. So if you're an artist and you're serious about coming in, the freestylepod@gmail.com. We'll put it right here on the video so you can see. Send us an email, some of your links to your music, things like that, if you're serious about coming on. You can also DM us if you want, but the email is the best way to go about it. So if you're watching this, we haven't released the episode with my dad yet, the first episode. I hope that everyone enjoyed that episode. It was great for me to sit down with him and talk about some things that we maybe normally wouldn't discuss. So that was just a great sit-down conversation with my pops. So if you want to support, we're brand new, trying to grow. Hit the subscribe button if you're watching on YouTube. Like the video, comment on the video, hit the follow button, all that if you want to support. So with all that being said, I'm very excited to introduce today's guest. He's over here dodging and weaving already, just in his blood. So today's guest is a heavyweight boxer nicknamed Fast for his quick hands and quick movement in the ring. His professional career began at just 18 years old, where he won his first bout by TKO in the year 2000. Since then, he has had a very impressive career with 43 wins and just 5 losses, 23 of those wins coming by KO. One of his most notable fights was in 2010, where he went 12 rounds with one of the best heavyweights of all time in Wladimir Klitschko. He spent some of his time in his professional career overseas in the UK training with Team Fury. So everyone give it up for today's guest, Eddie Chambers. Let's go. What's up, my guy? Thank you for coming on.
Not a problem.
Thank you, brother.
Anything for you, Mike. You
Hey,
know that.
my guy. So when I was writing that, a heavyweight boxer, I almost wrote former heavyweight boxer. Not former yet. Not completely out of retirement.
We're in the process right now of determining whether Jake Paul's gonna give me a call. That's basically all we're looking for. No, but it could be a serious inquiry, something that really puts us back into the fold. But because it only really takes one, so I'm just holding out hope, even though I'm getting really, really, really old. We'll see. We'll see what happens. I'm not honestly. I'm 1 foot and 1 foot and 5 toes or whatever the term is.
I got you. I know what you're trying to say. I mean. You're feeling like you're close to retiring, but you're not giving it up yet. Yeah. If the right opportunity comes across,
why not?
Is there any opponents out there that you're like, or is it just whoever they would match you up with? What weight would you fight at?
That is the question. I mean, probably heavyweight to start. I mean, pretty much heavyweight. I mean, they have this for the WBC it's called Bridgerweight, which is like anywhere from I think 200 to 225 or something like that, or 210 to something like that. Any of those things I'm available for. I would try. I even did my last fight was in 2023. So even at that time, I was kind of flirting with the idea of getting back into it seriously, like heavy.
Mm-hmm. I saw that was in Nashville.
Yeah,
right?
it was in Nashville.
Yeah, I did a little research on you.
Yeah, a little bit, man.
Dude, it was fun doing the research on you.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna tell the story of kind of how we met, but I didn't know you were a boxer for years. Yes. It shows how humble you are. It honestly says a lot about you. But just like doing the research on you, it was like crazy that it was like, I'm friends with this guy. I didn't even know he was a boxer. So what was that fight in Nashville? So your first fight or your fight before that, I think was like maybe 2017 before
2016, actually.
2016?
Yeah.
And then what was that fight in Nashville in 2023?
2023. It was, I want to say, I think February of 2023 was.
Who'd you fight?
I fought his name was Corey. What's his last name? My God, and I know him really well too. Corey Williams. Okay. Actually, he was. Don't laugh. He was the promoter. He was one of the promoters and the matchmaker. And
what was like the main? Were you the main event?
No. I was I want to say co-main or one of the. Yeah, I think it's co-main. Maybe I was. The main event was I think it wasn't a major, super big time card at the time. It was just like something to stay busy on. Okay. It was because the promoter I was working with initially was trying to get me a big fight, and the way to get me the big fight was, you got to get a couple wins, you fight a couple cans to get back up there. So that's what this fight was supposed to be. Gotcha. But we ran out of opponents. There wasn't no guys there. So, Corey, he put himself in the mix as well. He got his medicals done and everything. He said, you know what, I'm gonna get in there with you. Gotcha. You know what I mean? So it was
went to decision?
No.
Knocked him out?
Yeah, I stopped him. And in the fight, because he hasn't really competed a lot recently.
So were you going easy on him a little bit?
I kind of was.
Yeah.
No disrespect to him. I mean, he's a fighter. He's been a fighter at many levels. So
there's levels to it though.
Yeah, but it was just I'm in there. I'm hitting the guy. He's an older guy too. I mean, I think he's a year younger than me actually, but he's
older guy.
It could have been wrong, or a year older, one or the other.
Gotcha.
So I'm hitting him, and I hit him once to the head, and I saw his eyes. I'm like, nah, I ain't doing that no more. So I was just like, I just jabbed and just went to the body, and eventually it got to the point where he even threw a punch and missed and went down, and I'm like, that's enough. I'm like, please stop it. I'm in the corner saying stuff, and they're like, you can't say that, because if you say that and the ref hears it,
right,
they could look at you kind of left. But he wasn't. I didn't get hit once in the entire fight.
Can we include this? Is it you gonna get in trouble?
Yeah, no. It's all good. I mean, Corey understands.
No, I got you. But I did want to tell the story of kind of how we met to start. I thought that'd be kind of cool. Yeah. Pretty much, LA Fitness back in the day originally. There's LA Fitness I went to growing up, playing basketball at when I was like a freshman in high school. It was grown men there on that court. A lot of good basketball players. You were like in the middle of your career, and I didn't know he was a boxer. But there was just a couple guys that were like nice to us. Yes. A lot of the guys didn't like that we were there and stuff. So you were one of we were like, oh, that guy's cool. We like that dude. Yeah. So then I go off to college and everything, and then at Lifetime I see you. I'm like, wait, saw you from LA Fitness. Yeah. I don't remember. Was that before COVID when we ran into each other?
Yeah, definitely before COVID.
So then years of us, you were trying to get better at ball.
Yes.
Years of us playing in the league together, working out together.
Yes.
No clue at all you were a boxer. Mm-hmm. You're talking to that one Asian dude that's always at playing basketball. Yeah. He always calls me Curry.
I know you.
So you guys are talking, and I kind of go over and join, and he's like talking about boxing, and then he mentions you in the thing, and I'm like, Eddie, you're a boxer? And he looked at me like I had 5 heads. He was like, you don't know? He Eddie Chambers, Fast Eddie Chambers, he champion. I was like, no shit. What's that?
Yeah, that was funny. Yeah.
I was like, I didn't know, man. I didn't know. So, and then you go on to kind of tell me a little bit about your career. You talked in detail about like the Klitschko fight and everything. Yeah. And I was like
to forget that.
I still was like, holy shit, I can't even believe this. And also part of that I think is that you were a heavyweight, and like you're very undersized for a heavyweight.
I'm 6'1".
On a good day?
On a great day. And on a good day. Man, they always try to talk about I ain't as tall as I am. I'm definitely 6'1". Stop hating. Okay. But anyway.
I'll give you that.
Yeah, and I'm at the height of my career. When I was at the highest level, I was about 200, below 210. Mm-hmm. Let's just say 205 to 210.
Yeah, we'll get into some of your like biggest fights, but everyone outweighed you by 35, 40, 45 pounds.
Sometimes, yeah. Like for the most part, like I think when I fought Tomas Adamek, which was later on, I think he was the closest as a heavyweight. No. There might have been one other that might have been a little bit closer, but he was 225, and he was coming up from like heavyweight, which is 175, to cruiserweight, which is the limit is 200, and then to heavyweight, he outweighed me by like 23 pounds. Really outweighed me by 27 pounds, but I put stuff in my pockets because I was like 198.
Yo, actually?
Yeah. But, I mean, I always kept my sweatpants on and stuff like that when I weighed in. So,
wow.
But I was like 198.
It's crazy with weighing in. You never hear it the other way around, where someone's trying to. It's always.
It's always the other way. I know.
So why didn't you ever go to a lower weight class?
I did once, and I think the biggest issue here, was when I went to the lower weight. You got to understand when you're fighting at heavyweights and the big guys, you're overcompensating with size and everything. Now, granted, I still fight like a small guy. I fight like a guy who's a welterweight or somewhere down there, middleweight, whatever you want to call it. But skills. But as a heavyweight, there's certain other things you got to deal with. Now, I'm able to utilize that against them, but sometimes the range is really difficult to cross. But when you fight actually at a lower weight, the pace is different.
Right.
The speed is different. Right. It's not even so much that they're faster punch for punch. It's just that their pace, their head movement, the way they process things is quicker. So me coming from a heavier weight down to the
your
lighter
conditioning
weight
has to be crazy good.
Yeah, I mean, I was always in great shape.
Right.
I didn't even though I didn't look it in some parts of my career. I was always in really good shape. I never really went in there without being in the right kind of condition. But when I went down to this weight, first of all, it's the first time a guy was shorter than me that I can remember. He was 5'8", and I'm like 6'1". I'm like, yo, it's kind of different.
What your opponents felt like going against you.
Facts. And he was sharp. He was actually sharp. But he's a southpaw, and he understood in that moment that he just needed to make it difficult for me to say.
This was against Thomas.
No. This was against his name was Tabizum Chunu.
Okay. Yeah, some of the guys you fought, the pronunciations of their names.
Wow. Yeah, I know. He's an African guy. He's I think he's from South Africa. And I didn't know this. And this is how crazy things are. And we can get into this a little later if you got time.
Yeah.
About the business of boxing and what what people do. And, I had no idea about this guy. This guy had I think 175 amateur fights. He was like all Africa or something like that as an amateur. And he turned pro. He only had one loss. And he got stopped, but he was beating a guy every round. So you don't know really about them. And then they was taking things off the internet, so I couldn't watch film of them. I couldn't see anything. I didn't know anything about them.
So what did you think going in that it was going to be?
I thought it was going to be, because I figured, they were saying to me, oh, he's the best cruiserweight in the world before I even had a fight, because they knew how well I was doing at heavyweight and how good a fighter I was at heavyweight. But it's different. The pace is different. Now, that doesn't mean I still can't handle it. It's just I didn't have as much experience at it. I didn't have enough. And in camp, I'm still sparring slow heavyweights, guys who were 6'3". There was only one guy that was a southpaw.
For that in your training. And how'd the fight go?
I ended up losing the decision, which was extremely bad for me, obviously.
What year was this?
This was in 2013. It was in the summer of 2013. I fought at Mohegan Sun. Yeah, I ain't never going to forget it.
Is that Tiabo?
Tabizo Chuno. Yeah, it's wild.
These names that you fought, man, I'm like, I'm going to need your help pronouncing some of them.
No problem, man. No problem. I got you.
But let's kind of reset. I want to kind of get your full story.
Okay.
Kind of beginning with your childhood.
It's an interesting childhood.
Yeah. What was your childhood like?
Well, my dad was everything. He was mentor, judge, jury, executioner, the whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was rough. He was supportive. He was everything like he was supposed to. Obviously, he was there. He had complete autonomy. My mother wasn't really around at that time. She was really young, and she had me at the age of 19. So he was, she basically said, "Hey, you gotta take care of him. I'm not ready for this." So he did. They broke off or whatever, and so like I said, he had complete control. Pops. Yeah. So he was able to do whatever he wanted.
Gotcha. Do you have brothers and sisters?
I have the closest Well, actually, I don't say the closest. Yeah, the closest in age to me is my sister, who's 3 years younger. But I was kind of the middle child. I have two older sisters as well.
Okay.
And I have a younger sister.
Did you guys grow up in the same household, or was it just you and your
Me
pops?
and my younger sister did for the most part, and my younger brother did too. I have another brother who's not actually blood, but he grew up with us as well.
Gotcha.
But yeah, I got a huge family.
Your dad helped train you a lot, or did he set you up with someone else?
Oh no,
He was your
all
trainer?
it was
Okay.
all him, and it was in high school. I wanted to. That was basically your age when you was coming into LA Fitness that time. I wanted to play basketball. I was like, I asked him, can I try out for the team? He was telling me how good I was at the gym, and can I try out for the team? He was like, I don't know if I can say it all crazy.
Yeah, say what you
He was
want.
like, nah, nigga, you boxing. You ain't doing none of that basketball shit. So I just said, I guess some boxing. So, I just kept going with it. And
At the time, though, did that hurt you? Like,
It did.
Man, why is my dad making me do this?
I did not want to do it. And even at 9 years old, I started to learn. That's really my
Yeah, because your first
introduction.
fight was at 18. So,
No. My first fight was 13.
well, I mean,
My first pro
professional,
fight.
yeah,
My first
professional
pro
fight, 18. So obviously, yeah, you were deep into boxing before.
Oh, yeah,
at
for
this
sure.
Time yeah,
For
good
sure.
decision on Pops to.
It was, and I'm not gonna question that, and I'm thankful every day that I did that, and maybe, but if I would have done basketball, I would have been more invested mentally, physically, and everything. It would have got everything of me. Basketball would have, because I really love basketball.
But do you think that would have took away from boxing?
It probably would have. There's no question. But this is the thing about boxing. Now, granted, back then we didn't know this, and this, the internet was coming. We didn't know how soon, and we didn't know what was going to happen with that. But, you look at guys now, and you can choose another sport, and when that fails, if it does, you come over to boxing later on. Shoot, you ain't even gotta be an athlete. You can just be a internet personality. I'm like,
Right.
yo, yeah, I want to try boxing, and you can go into boxing and have success. Look at Jake Paul.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Actor, you know what I mean? On Nickelodeon, all these other, you know what I mean?
Yep.
And now look at him. He's a big superstar in boxing. How is that? It's because it's about getting butts in the seats. That's the more important
Butts
part.
in the seats and working with right trainers and things like that.
Right.
Yeah. Back then, it was more common for people to play multiple sports. I feel like
Right.
now it's like, okay, if you're playing basketball, parents want you to, try to stay with basketball. Mm-hmm. So yeah, who knows what would have happened if your pops was like, all right, go ahead, try out for the team.
I honestly, I'm not delusional. You know what I mean? I love basketball though, and the thing is, I learned my work ethic from my dad. We was in the gym, like when I tell you, I was sparring. That is physical contact, sparring all out twice a day. So I was equivalent to that in basketball was like playing two games a day.
I don't even know if there is an equivalent because you're taking punches and even though you're wearing headgear when you spar, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. But still, I mean, how much?
Yeah.
Because
And at a young age too.
oh man, I was sparring pro since I was 15 years old, 14, 15 years old. You hear about David Benavidez and stuff like that. Those guys doing that. It's a real thing. There's a lot of young guys who are phenomenal little fighters or young fighters, and they're so good that they're just, head and shoulders above the competition at the age they are. Now, I wasn't necessarily skill-wise at the time, head and shoulders above, and we didn't really know. We came from a pretty, it was good at the time, but from Pittsburgh's not really a hotbed for huge talent in boxing. So I was kind of, after just a short while, one of the best fighters in the city. You know what I mean?
At what age?
At 16, 17 years old. You know what I mean? We had guys who were pros I was beating up bad and sending home.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even want to spar with this dude. But there was one in particular that taught me how to fight southpaws. His name was Tim Williamson.
Okay.
Man, he used to give me work, and it took me a minute to really get it.
Well, he was a southpaw?
He was a southpaw. He was the first southpaw that I recognized that I really had to figure out. Everything else, any other southpaw sparred or fought at the time, they didn't really have enough skill to really, utilize it as to the advantage. But he was.
What was the difference with him that made him?
Well, first off, he was a pro. The first time I sparred with him, I was 14, I think, 14 or 15. I think I was 14. And my dad's old trainer.
How old was he?
Oh, he was like 23.
I mean, that's
he was
wild.
about to he was about to turn pro. He was about to turn pro. It was crazy. But he had just come back from winning the national Golden Gloves, I think, at the time. So he comes back, and Lee Moores, who used to be my dad's trainer, is a really older guy, really old guy, but he was really had a lot of knowledge in boxing, man. And he was training Tim. So they say, all right, we're going to set up some sparring because, my dad's always looking at, put him in there with Tim. I don't care. Mike Tyson could come to town. I'm going to put Eddie in there with him. I was like, yo, this is crazy. So he put me in there with him. Now, I'm in there sparring with the guy, and it was weird. It was different, and I didn't understand. All you say, he's southpaw. You throw the right hand, left hook. Like, he didn't really give me any real instruction to figure out how to deal with it because, to be honest, I don't know if he really himself knew how to understand how to properly deal with that.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm in there with the guy, and I used to like this thing where I throw a jab at the head, real hard right hand to the body, and just drive it through. So I said, try that, this guy. I did it, and folded him. He folded over like, oh, you can see him like trying to, and I'm like, I looked at my dad like, what do I do? do I keep hitting the guy? Man, motherfucker, get in. So I'm like, all right, and I go in, and I'm going, but I feel bad. And I'm like, yo, am I supposed to still be hitting on this guy? He hurt.
Right, because you're sparring. It's like you want to be respectful.
And at the time, but then again, there was sparring sessions. I was getting battered around the ring, and I just kept going.
Wow. And
that just lets you know a little bit about how boxing goes.
Well, that kind of I have a question written here that's kind of perfect. Because, I just do everything perfectly all the time.
Of course you do.
But when did you realize that this was going to be your career?
I want to say, like, when he was telling me we're going to turn pro, he always...
Who's he?
My dad.
Okay, gotcha.
He was always saying, my dad was always saying, at 18, we're turning. He said, I don't care what it is. I don't care where you're at. I don't care what. We're not staying amateur. We're turning pro. So I was just like, I'm in my head, I'm like, yeah, all right, whatever. 18 years old came. Now, granted, it was close to when I was going to turn 19, but it was 18. I was 18, December 29th, 2000. Right before 2001.
Yeah.
I fought in Mountain Air Racetrack.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that moment, granted, the other times, even before he said I was turning, but that was a moment it felt real.
Yeah.
No headgear, little gloves. I remember being taped up. We had to wait till after the fight. Basically, all of the major fights on the card was over. I think I was either the last or next to last fight on the card. We talking about like 1 a.m.
What, like after the main event?
After the yeah, they can still have fights on, depending on, like, that's why they call them swing bouts. Like certain swing bouts, certain times you can get on TV. You know what I mean? You might get a little TV time. You might get like a 4-rounder that's on TV. They have guys who were brand new, depending on how good the guys are, right? So after the TV fights are over, they may still have a few fights that they have to have go on.
Okay.
It could be 1 or 2 in the morning.
So that first fight, you won by TKO?
Yeah, I stopped him. And
what round?
Second round. Should have been first, but it's second round. And I remember getting in there, I was so nervous. I had a guy with us, his name was Meech. We call him Meech. His name's Demetrius, but we call him Meech. And I was just asking him, because he had like 6 pro fights, and I was just like talking to him, trying to pick his brain, trying to figure out what to get. Because I'm so, bro. I was more nervous for my very first fight, like first amateur fight, but I didn't know what to do, bro. I was like, damn, this is crazy. I already had fights before, so I was like, all right, I can handle it. But man, when I got in there, the first, I think he threw I think I threw a jab or something, but he threw the first punch and then threw another one, and it hit me, I think. I didn't even feel it.
Yeah, you're just
I was numb, bro. I was like,
just...
And then I remember like going in, and I hit him with a right hand, boom, and I felt, this is what you really know is real. I felt it through the glove.
Yeah.
Like I felt it hit my hand, like almost like it was naked, like it was bare knuckle. I was like, damn, it's crazy. And then I hit him again. You never felt
something like that before?
Never.
All your sparring and all your...
Because we always had big gloves on. Even in the amateurs, amateur gloves were like 12-ounce gloves. These were 10s. Okay. And they're pro gloves. And I think we had Everlast. I think it was Everlast. If it was Reyes, I could definitely understand why. Reyes are puncher's gloves. But I put my hand on, boom, and I'm like, damn. And I hit him again. And then this is when it was really crazy. And I'm sitting, he's like, yo, looking at the ref, I'm hurt.
He said that to the ref?
He said, and I'll never forget that. He's like, I'm hurt. And he started backing up. He was kind of like staggering a little bit. And then I went in, and I think I hit him a couple more times. I think the ref did give him a knockdown or a standing 8. Then I went back in, but it was just like, it was weird. Bell rang, I go back to the corner, and I'm kind of tired. Like, my dad said the same thing to me in my first fight, like my first amateur fight. He's like, yo, you're going to be tired after the first round. I was not tired, but I was like,
yeah, it's the whole experience.
Like,
You're probably not breathing the right way. You're so many things going on.
You
When
know
you're
that
nervous,
adrenaline dump you get in there?
Well, I've never been in a fight like that.
No,
I can't imagine. I mean, I've had big basketball games and
Yeah,
stuff, but
same thing.
it's nice of you to say it's the same thing,
No,
but
no,
it's
no.
not. Because
It's
walking
not
into
equal in the terms of taking the damage and all of that. But
in basketball, it's a team sport. In boxing, it's just you. So
hear me out.
nowhere to hide.
There's no question that the pressure of boxing is incredible because it's only on you. But that makes it kind of easy. And when I say easy, I'm not easy, but it makes it easier for you to perform. Plus, the guy's trying to knock your head off. You ain't just gonna sit there and let him hit you.
Right.
So you ain't got no choice but to fight back. In basketball, it's not like you're paying for it by getting hit or hurt. So the pressure's on you to perform, and skill is a thing. And if you have the skill, but you don't got the will, you're gonna fall apart. So, like I said, even though I was not a very confident kid coming up, so
Though you're 14, 15 years old, knocking out grown men.
Bro, I'm trying to tell you, I was extremely aggressive early on. Like, I would just go in, but it was all like, it wasn't a facade or anything. It was just how I was. I didn't know any other way to be. But I was still the nicest kid in the world, but extremely aggressive. I got in there. It was about a fight. So I get in there and throw punches. But it was kind of like to overcompensate. I didn't really know how to emotionally balance it. I was nervous all the time, scared to get hurt. I thought I was going to lose every time I was getting in there. Shit, I was even hoping I was going to lose in the amateurs so that I could quit.
Yeah.
But then now that I think about it, my dad wasn't going to let me quit if I had lost anyway. So
do you look back and be like, man, why wasn't I more confident in myself? I was killing it.
I do, but then I realize I'm me. It's almost like this. Don't laugh. But I had games, right? And I was playing in that, and this kind of goes into that. I had games when I was playing in that. We was talking about off air about when I was playing with Eli and those guys in that
basketball league.
In that league. And one time I said, you know what? I want to try something. Because I always said this before. I went home and I had this little, this yak. It's cognac.
Oh, cognac.
And I said, let me try this, right? So I put a little cap full, a little bit more than a cap full. No, I swear to you, bro.
Before the game?
And hit, and had like put some other little concoction in there to make it.
Marshawn Lynch stuff right there.
But
You had a good game?
I had a good game. The edge was off.
Okay.
Now, I'm not saying I'm not telling where the camera this one. I'm not telling people to do that. Absolutely not. Whatever.
This is you.
That one. Absolutely not. But when you're like me and in those type of situations, I was just really so good at boxing that I was able to overcome the negative in my head.
It's funny to me, though, someone that's had such big moments in your professional career, like playing in a men's league, that you would even feel any sort of nerves. Like, who the hell cares? Plus, you have Eli Carter on your team. Just pass him the ball.
That's why we won.
Just pass him the ball.
And we had another kid. His name was Eddie. His name was Eddie, but they call him EJ. He was nice, too.
EJ.
And they knew each other. They played together. I think
I might know him.
He could play.
Yeah.
They both could play. I mean, look. And we had another kid. He had braids. I think he was an African guy. About 6'4". He could. There was a couple games he was the man. And then Eli couldn't play every game. But when he got to the playoffs, he showed up every time.
There you go.
And every game.
That's what you need in
dropping
the men's
him,
league.
hitting from the half court 3 ball. He was cooking it up.
I saw him in a one-on-one thing on YouTube. He was he's a bucket.
He's different.
So kind of want to jump into like your early career a little bit.
Of course.
So not really a big deal, but you won your first 22 fights in a row.
Actually,
16 by knockout.
Something like that.
I did the research for you.
You're the man. I don't
22 in a row.
Huh?
22 in a row.
No, actually, 30.
What, before
a loss, yeah.
Well, you're saying like before your first official professional one?
No, yeah, my first loss was I was 30-0, and then I had my first loss.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe my research is lying to me.
No.
Where
You
did
probably
I
got
have
it.
you for?
Maybe it was.
Well, against Povetkin, right? Alexander Povetkin.
Yes, that was
Yeah.
was my 31st fight. Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird with boxing. It's like when you look up stuff, it's like never the clearest. That's something
Over here,
with
over
like
there.
UFC and boxing. When I see them compared, UFC everything's like very clear cut. Okay, this is how
Streamlined.
many professional fights they have in the UFC. This is their record. With boxing, it's like
Yeah.
the records and stuff. Even when I was looking you up, I was like, okay, this says he has 22 fights and then he lost his first one, and then it like jumps around. You just told me that's not true. So
It was it's like I don't know if you can go to, for a quick synopsis, you can go to BoxRec, but I don't know if they have all the information. I know the Wikipedia has a good amount, but people get on Wikipedia and can make adjustments to it too. So it's
so
like,
it was actually 30 professional fights.
30
until
and
your
0.
first
I was
loss.
I had before my first loss. We were in a tournament. It was like a 4-man tournament. It was me, Chris Bird, Calvin Brock, and Alexander Povetkin. Alexander Povetkin and me were the fresh guys. Chris obviously had been world champion before. He had been high level. Calvin Brock had fought Wladimir already and got stopped. This, I guess, was his opportunity to get back. This was 2 fights after he lost to Wladimir. I was fighting. So I ended up beating him. Chris ended up losing to Povetkin, and they got kind of the fight they wanted. They wanted 2 fresh guys, 2 new faces to challenge him. And then after, when I fought Povetkin, that's how I got my first loss.
And Povetkin was a 2004 Olympic gold medalist.
Yeah, he was world champion.
Yeah. So, but from my research, even though you lost that fight, it said that your stock still rose.
Yeah.
Because how'd that fight go against Povetkin?
I want to say I was dominating him. I wish we could put the clip up. No, but
we'll add stuff post production.
it was.
We'll add what we can because I don't
Well,
want
of
to get
course, yeah,
copyright and
right.
stuff. But yeah, tell me about that fight.
He was everything that you would think as far as like professionalism and and he was obviously in shape. He did everything he was supposed to. He didn't necessarily look in the best shape. Neither one of us did, to be honest. But with me, it was actually kind of true in a sense that I worked hard, but we got to camp very late. So when we were supposed to get to camp, and even that would have been kind of pushing it, December 22nd of 2007, because I fought him on the 26th of January 2008.
Gotcha.
So we were supposed to already be in camp. Now, I just had fought Calvin Brock, and the date had been moved to October 2nd. November 2nd, if I'm not mistaken. I'm sorry, November 2nd. So with him, we're supposed to get a certain amount of time in between fights.
What's your ideal time between fights? Like 3 or 4 months
most
at
time,
minimum? Most
of the time, you're talking, we got to promote it. You got to do things like that. And but the thing about this was already a tournament that was being promoted. Once the fighters won, it was just like going to the next. So they had a set date of the 26th of January, which is coincidentally my brother's birthday. But we're there. I mean, we're in trying to make trying to postpone it a little bit, like, give us a little more time so we can set up a proper camp and this and that. And they said, no, we're a hard set on this date. We want to have this fight at this time. Obviously, us asking that question, like hammered home, something must be going on with him. You know what I mean? So we're going to try to put this fight on right now.
They wanted Povetkin to win?
Well,
what was the tournament held?
Well, kind of in a sense. I mean, they figured that he would win regardless. I mean, I'm not as well known at all at that time. Like I said, he was a world amateur champion. He was respected all over. Olympic.
It seems like every big fight you've had, I
was always B-side.
Yeah, they wanted the other guy to win. And where was this tournament at? And where were you fighting Povetkin?
The championship of it, which was me and him, was in Berlin, Germany.
Right. Yeah, there you go.
He's Russian, but they also use Germany a lot for their fights. And I think, quote unquote, neutral ground, I think that was where it was trying to be. They were trying to put it there. So obviously he's Russian. They're trying to put it in Berlin. So it's kind of, it's neutral ground. Yeah, all right.
Right, it's home field for him.
It's a very close trip for him anyway. But so they, like I said, they were dead set on it. So I had, because we missed a flight to get there, to get to our camp, and we were setting camp up to go down to Buddy McGirt's camp down in Florida, which is in Vero Beach, Florida. So we missed the flight, so we ended up not getting to camp till like the 1st or the 2nd of the year.
Okay. So you're
So
only
that
there for
means-
3.5 weeks.
No, not even. It was a total of 17 days.
Wow.
So so I'm training 3 times a day, hard, sparring twice a day sometimes, trying to do everything I can to make up the time. You can't do it.
Right.
It's not. You can have a month of intense training and all that, and it could be great,
Right.
but you're going to eventually start to.
Yeah. Well, it sounds you need that time because
you
if
have
you're
to.
pumping it all in a month, then at the end of that you're burnt out. Yeah.
So is what happened. I'm sparring, and I might have had, like I said, I basically had 2 weeks to train. So I'm sparring.
2 weeks to train against an
weeks.
Olympic gold medalist.
That's what I'm saying. Now, when I got there, I was still training. I
Right.
wasn't sparring, but I was still training like I was
Yeah, you're always
mid-camp.
staying in shape.
Yeah, well,
but-
no, like I had to do it like I was in mid-camp because remember, I lost a lot of time.
Right.
And I think we went over there too early. We went over there 9 days in advance.
Hmm.
So we were over there, and I'm still in the sweating in the, you know what I mean, and doing the bike, doing the Stairmaster, swimming, all kind of stuff, and hitting the mitts, going crazy hard in the gym. 2-3 days before the fight, just because I'm trying to, because we had to go through this almost like I'm about to have another sparring session with him, but because my body wasn't all the way where it needed to be. I wasn't like my man Tony Thompson. He was in camp with me. He was like, "You supposed to be dropping people in camp. You supposed to be cooking everybody, man. You ain't supposed to be looking tired and stuff like that after."
Right.
After only 2 weeks of training. He said, "Yo, you just didn't go through the motions enough." He said, "You look good to a degree in the first week." And I'm sparring 12 rounds the first week of camp. You know what I mean? Because I was fighting a
This
12
is so
round
old
fight.
school because like you feel like stuff like this would never really happen nowadays. But tell me about the actual fight with him. How yeah.
I got in there and we were looking at camp. I mean, we were looking at tape in camp. And I was kind of like, he ain't really that. Because he didn't look, there's a certain savvy, a certain little look to a fighter that has, and the European fighter's a little different. They don't necessarily have that sauce. Not all of them. Some of them do, but not all of them. Most of them don't. So he looked at him like he kind of trash. I'm cooking him.
Okay.
Disrespectful a little bit. Not thinking, oh, you're a world champion, won the gold, he did all this. So we go into the fight, and it was just as expected. I was cooking him. Like he couldn't see what was coming. Like my eye, I was selling feints with my eyes. I remember the first big shot I landed was a big shot too. Right hand over the top, and instantly a mouse appeared. Like instantly. Like I saw it. You see him kind of wobble tad, but he wasn't hurt. You could just see it. It was just a massive shot. And even the round before, even the first, and I was in the second round. Even the first round, I had him with a nice right hand pivot, left hook. He was just out of his depths. He honestly is saying, it's crazy to say that because he's had more experience than I had, even in his short career as a pro. But his amateur career was vast. He beat everybody as an amateur. So when he got in the ring with me, it was something different. Like I was doing things that guys who were smaller, because I have a smaller guy style. If you watch it, that was one of the best skill heavyweight fights you would have saw around that time. I don't know about before it or after, but if you seen us fight, it was like really high level.
Yeah.
Most of the high level, and I'm not saying this, I'm not, you know how I am as a person. I'm not talking how great I am, but I was the more skilled fighter. I looked like I had more experience than him, but it was just the savvy of it. He understood the long game. He obviously must have known, or they had an idea that the camp wasn't great. So he just said, okay, you're going to be cooking me for a while, but we're going to see what happens in the second half. But even in the sixth round, going into the second half, they were saying, if I would have kept, because there was people in his corner in the know that was saying, yo, they was looking at him like, yo, he was not thinking about quitting, but
Oh yeah.
not really like they was almost giving up.
Wow.
So they said. I mean, you know how guys talk. But
So you got into the later rounds.
So the later rounds, he started what they call a hometown hustle. He just started throwing punches.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, and I'm already like cooked. Like there was a moment in the fight that I remember him getting weak, and I could feel him. Like we were like kind of clinching, and I was pushing him back, and I'm kind of walking to him. And I remember there was a moment he threw a shot, and I caught it, and I stepped inside, and we kind of clinched a little bit. But I don't like clinching, so I always push people off. So I pushed him back, and I felt him kind of just give way. And I was like, oh, yeah, I got him. It's a wrap. Then he threw something, and then I threw something back, and it was weak. And I was like, oh, shit, man. Like,
what, yours was weak?
Yeah.
Oh, gotcha.
I felt like, yo, what is wrong? I'm like, damn.
Yeah.
I just ain't have anything. I ain't have any real snap.
What round was this in?
Yeah. Huh?
What round was this in when you felt that?
This had to be like the 7th round. I had to fight the rest of the fight like that. And I remember, Buddy McGirt in the camp and in the corner, and my dad in the corner, different people in the corner. They're like, yo, man, just do this. Just let your hands go without, you ain't got to throw power on the shots. And I'm like, I can't fight like that. Not then. Everything had to be
Pop.
snap. Yeah, sharp. And with some pop on it. And I'm in there waiting for perfect opportunities, muster up a little energy, throw a shot, and he was throwing 90 punches around, 80, 70 to 100 punches around. I couldn't keep up with it, but I was still outlanding him on some of those rounds.
Mm-hmm. And did he knocked you down?
No.
Oh, no?
I have never been down. I've only been down once and out once in my career.
Wow.
Nobody's ever.
I thought when I looked it up, it said that there was a knockdown. See,
they be messing you up. Nah. I never.
Okay.
I was down in the Klitschko fight. That was it.
Gotcha.
Once down, once out.
So it went to decision, and you just
Scorecards were bad, but I mean, it didn't matter. I lost anyway. It wasn't like if it was a split, would it have made a difference? No, it don't really matter.
Gotcha.
I really believe that it probably should have been 115, 113 across the board for him. And I'm not trying to, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You could have said if I won the 6th or won another round up there, you could have said a draw, but there's no way I'm getting a draw. There's no way he's winning, even if it was from 6 on to 12, to the 12th round, that they're not going to give him the fight. They're going to find a way. So, yeah.
So after that fight, from what my research, if you can tell me if it's wrong, you have a bunch of rebound fights. You win 11 in a row before fighting Dimitrenko.
Yes, he was there. He was there. Yeah, I didn't win 11 though, because Wladimir was in that span. He was. I want to say I was 35-2, or 36, or 35 or 36-2 when I fought him. I mean, after
Wladimir?
I fought him, because I had the second loss.
So you go from that fight, you have some rebound wins, and then you have maybe your biggest fight ever against Dimitrenko, correct?
Yeah, up to that point, yes. It was next.
And then after him was Klitschko.
Yeah, and then after Vladimir. Yep.
So we'll talk about this. What's that?
There was a fight before the Dimitrenko fight that was pretty big, and it was with former heavyweight champion. He literally one fight before I fought him was heavyweight champion. He lost to Vitaly Klitschko. Which was, Vladimir's brother. Both were world champion amateurs and also world champion fighters, Hall of Famers too. Vitaly Klitschko was. So he fought him right before he fought me.
Okay.
And Sam Peter, killer like back then, like a big puncher, knockout guy. He fought James Toney twice. He fought I can't. Like I said, he fought Wladimir. He fought Vitaly. He had a lot of.
So it was 3 huge fights in a row for you.
Yes.
Okay, so you won the first one.
Yeah, I beat him.
What was his name again?
Samuel Peter.
Okay.
Yeah, I beat him 10-round decision. Honestly, I really felt like I won every round. Maybe if there was a round and whatever, you might have been able to kind of sneak to him. In my opinion, I think I won every round. Just from watching it. I watched it back. He like I said, he was a crazy puncher, but I was just turning him. He couldn't set his feet, so he had a hard time. But the Dimitrenko fight, yes, that was the eliminator. That was a huge fight for me.
So, all right, so tell me if this stuff's wrong. I think this part should be right about Dimitrenko. So he's 6'7", 255 pounds. You going into the fight are 6'1", 208 pounds, around 45-pound difference.
Yep.
Now, I have the records might be a little off. You, at the time, just have that one loss that we discussed earlier. I have you at 33-1. Maybe you were like 40-1, closer to
34-1, I think it was. Yeah, but
and then he was 29-0 with 19 knockouts.
Yep.
This fight was also in Germany.
Yeah, it was in Hamburg, Germany.
And so every big fight, like you said, B side of the card.
Totally.
And even we're gonna talk details of this fight, but even in this, you won very convincingly because you had to. And the judges' scorecards read 117 to 109, 116 to 111, and what's the last one? You know it?
It was one. Was it 113? 113?
Yep.
Yeah, it was one because I heard him say it in German. And
Right.
you know what that was, right?
It's home field advantage. I
Well,
mean,
of course that,
what
but the
is
reason why it was 113, they really gave him the fight on that card 7-5, but because of the 2 knockdowns, because I got 2 knockdowns in the fight, it was even, and that
so
was
he
the
couldn't
first.
even cheat you to
Even with that, so this is the crazy part. That was the first card that was read.
Oh
Obviously,
yeah,
by
so
the
you're
announcer.
like, holy
So
shit.
everybody looking around like, oh, they gonna rob this kid. Then they read the other 2 after it,
Okay.
which was going to look bad. But then they announced me as the winner, so I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And my friend of mine, who at the time he wasn't a friend of mine, Glenn Feldman, he came to me and was like, man, I was looking at because his card was for the winner, which was me. And he said, man, I heard some of these other guys, and one of the guys, I think his name was Paul Thomas or something like that. I can't remember the judge's name, but his was 113. And he looked at him and he was like, oh. So they kind of
So
figured
in
the
the
fix was in.
fight, you had in round 7, you landed a left hook to the body, gave him a standing 8 count,
Yep.
and then in round 10, you dropped him with a left hook to the chin.
See, that's good. Yeah,
There you go.
Yeah.
All right, so something I just want to ask. All right, in other weight classes, if there's a 5-pound difference, 10-pound difference, it's
No way.
It's like
Doesn't happen.
you can't even do it. Like actually, Jake Paul, he just fought Anthony Joshua. You saw the difference. I don't know what their difference in weight was,
Very close.
but it's like similar to the way you're fighting these dudes. How come in heavyweight it's okay to have a 45-pound difference and you won,
Right.
but in other weights it's
Frowned upon. Well, I guess they're talking. They're looking at it like, weight per body mass percentage or whatever. I guess to a certain point, as a heavyweight over 200 pounds, they look at that as it's close enough. But come on, that's ridiculous. 50 pounds is 40 pounds, 30 pounds. That's a big, even 20 pounds. That's
and the
a
reach
major
advantage. We didn't even mention that.
Yeah, you see, but it's just the heavyweight division is a different sport than everything else. It's overcoming now. It's a different sport, especially for guys who are undersized, because now we got to figure out how to overcome every advantage, even like statistical, like whatever. We got to overcome every advantage just to have a shot.
Yeah,
That's what, and you know what they always say: a good big man will beat a great small man all the time. So I can be awesome. I can be the best fighter ever if I fought in my weight.
it's almost like someone being really tall in basketball,
Right.
A little bit. Like, okay, that dude could be skilled, but this 7-foot dude's grabbing the board.
You ain't got a chance. Now you might be able to take him on an island for a second. You know what I mean?
Right.
Create the space. You could be like Kyrie out there, but the reality of it
But
is,
you got to be like Kyrie,
yeah,
that good,
and even then,
right?
when he gets the ball, ain't nothing you can do about it.
Do you have to be extremely careful going up against someone
my
that big,
God.
just not to get touched at all?
Well, I got into the point where I was a lot tougher than I even realized when I really look at, the guys I fought and the things that they were able to do and the punches that landed and punches that didn't land and how I caught them. And I'm one of, I don't want to say this. I'm going to say it because it's the truth.
All right, here, rest
I'm
of the
gonna
podcast, you're
Yeah,
not
I'm-
allowed to do that. Just talk how
saying.
you want to talk, because I know you're so humble. But
Right.
go ahead.
But I haven't seen a guy defensively that's as good as me in the heavyweight division. And I'm talking about none of them. Defensively, I'm saying.
What
Defensively.
about Tyson Fury? He's pretty.
No. Tyson takes chances.
Right.
Tyson really
'Cause
takes
he's big
chances,
as hell.
and that's the one thing he could be. He could be the greatest everything. Tyson Fury really like that. I was in camp with him. I know how hard. He's the hardest sparring session I've ever had. It is almost impossible dealing with that dude on a regular basis, but I had to figure it out. But as far as defensively, bro, like I see it all coming. You know what I mean? I see it all coming. I learned it. I owned it. I didn't I didn't want to get beat up on. I didn't want to get hit. I don't want to be talking like some of these guys you see out here talking. So I took it serious, man, that defensive thing. So I don't see these guys even like guys like James Toney. I think he's one of the greatest skilled fighters of all time. He took too many chances too, like with how he defends to throw punches. I don't do that. Like my thing's on balance of probabilities. I'm not gonna sit there and throw a shot if I know that I'm going to put myself just as at risk for him to land as I'm not giving him a 50-50 shot. What I look like. And this is why they'll look at me and say, oh, he wasn't that exciting. It's because I was very careful and smart. But I stand right in front of you. Right. I look at you eye to eye and catch your shots in range. I wasn't running.
So something I do want to ask you is, do you think being like a defensive fighter and maybe not a knockout artist, even though you had plenty of knockouts, did you ever be like, all right, man, I got to try to knock him out because I want that higher spot on the card. I want more recognition. I know I could sit in the ring with this dude. He ain't going to touch me.
Right.
So how did you like balance that out in your professional career? Or did you just say, you know what, I'm winning the fight and I'm moving on?
After a while, because early on in my career, up to a certain point, I had a lot of knockouts because, early in your fight, you're fighting guys who really ain't supposed to be in the ring with you. But in some cases. So I'm trying to pile up the knockouts because that's what most of the time, and that is the selling point. I'm a knockout guy. But remember, I'm only 205 pounds, 210 pounds, sometimes 212, 213, and I'm 6'1" on a good day. I'm 6'1", damn it. But so
I'll give you 6'1".
Thank you.
Thank
you, Mike. I appreciate that. But I'm in there and I know it's like Mike Tyson had that mystique of being, from Brownsville, the tough kid, you know what I mean? And because he's a killer. But he was also a real knockout artist and he was really skilled. People really don't understand how skilled Mike Tyson was. But he was a knockout artist. That's what sold. The out of the ring stuff with him being crazy and all that made him a little more money, but it was because of his knockouts. Right. And he's a smaller guy. He's even smaller than me. He's like 5'10". He was like, 215, but he was wide shoulder and all that. Yeah. Super strong. But me, I'm all skill. I'm a smaller guy. Punching power is decent if I was in a lower weight, but I'm fighting these heavyweights. So when I put my hands on them, they looking at me right after I hit them like, that's it? Not that's it, but you know what I'm saying. Because I was able to get respect from them. So it's not like I couldn't put the elite guys out of there. Like you see, I put Dimitrenko down. I've caught Povetkin with good shots in the fight. So it's not like I'm not punching decent, but it just wasn't enough to get him out of there. It had to be an accumulative type of effect, and hopefully I would get him out of there. So it was just.
When you're in the ring, you're just thinking, I gotta win.
And that's what it turned out to be.
You can't be thinking about okay, because once you, and I'm no expert at all. That's why you're here. Once you start thinking about, all right, let me try to knock this dude out. That's when you're gonna do something stupid and get caught.
And that was one thing I was not willing to sacrifice. And the only time I've done it, and I made one mistake, and it was in 10 to 20 seconds left in the fight with me and Wladimir. The whole fight, I defended and rolled under shots and made them sometimes, most of the time, a lot of the time, miss completely. The last time I said, all right, man, fight over. I ain't going to win the joint. You know what I mean? I'm just going to put my hand up and catch it. Dude, I knew what he was throwing. This is when you're well-studied, when you understand what you got in front of you and you can adapt, whether it's defensively, offensively, or whatever, you know how things look. So I looked at him. I knew what he was trying to do. To me, it looked, I don't want to say amateurish, but it didn't look high level what he was trying to set up. I saw it coming a mile away. He'd been trying to do that for the whole fight. That shit wasn't going to work with me. But then it did. And the reason it did is because I got lazy for 1 moment, 1 second.
Yeah. Well, how many seconds were left in the fight when
Probably
that happened?
15 to 10,
Yeah.
something like that.
And you thought pretty much what made you? We're gonna get to the Klitschko fight. Let's.
Yeah, you want to wait on that?
I mean, we could get into it now because we kind of just like transition. So the Dimitrenko fight, you win that, like we just discussed.
Yeah.
They tried cheating you.
They tried. They tried.
You had to win convincingly. You had to knock him. Like, even if you outclassed him, it's like, you felt like I kind of have to knock this dude down and hurt him.
Honestly. And then even in the last round, I had him hurt in the last round more than I had him hurt the whole fight. He was ready to go, but then I shot my load. Pause.
Yo. Yeah. That's crazy. Pause. Did you do that on purpose?
Yo.
Damn.
I didn't.
Yeah,
See, I tried to say it low.
Pause that.
Pause.
All right, we'll move on from there.
Please.
That's funny.
That was wild right there. My bad.
That was wild. That's okay. That's the biggest pause of the freestyle pod so far.
Pump your brakes.
Okay, so you go from Dimitrenko to the Klitschko fight.
Yeah.
I'll kind of give a little synopsis of going in like I just did.
Mm-hmm.
So he's 53-3 with 47 knockouts. Watching that fight back when they announce him is like, it sounds like a movie, like the scary guy in a movie.
Mm-hmm.
Introducing Klitschko, 53-3, 47 knockouts.
Yeah.
It's like, just like, it's like laughable.
He's a killer.
So I have you at 35-1 at the time. So he's got an 81-inch reach.
Mm-hmm.
You have a 75-inch reach, 6-inch difference.
They ain't give me no damn. It's not 75. It's 76.
Oh, okay. Now you're 6'2".
It should be 7. Yeah. It should be 77. Damn it. But
okay.
No. But go ahead.
Well, I think saying it, you have a smaller reach actually makes it look
even more
impressive.
It does.
So going into that fight, just kind of start with like the training and everything, and kind of like what your plan was going in. Go ahead.
This is the thing about boxing, and certain people shouldn't be in certain positions, but I'm not going to fault this because we kind of went into it. It was professional but unprofessional in a sense that I was good. We saw that I was able to beat the 6'7", 6'8" Alexander Dimitrenko.
And that was on July 4th, 2009.
Yes,
right?
when I beat him.
That's actually I have it written down, the time in between the fights.
Right.
Is that what you're talking about?
Well, no. It was
okay.
No. Time. It was. We had plenty of time. There was no excuse here. They would have done, and as far as the training purposes, they would have given us whatever we wanted as far as that. Now the money would have been a little different, but but the time and what we needed, they would have come to it like, hey, just go ahead, take whatever you need.
Okay.
Because they believed they were going to win regardless. I mean, he was who he was. But the plan, that's the thing. We were watching old films of Joe Louis fighting Primo Carnera. Now, truthfully, Klitschko did kind of look like Primo Carnera a little bit the way he stood, and the size difference was similar. But the skill difference was massive.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Joe Louis was a much better fighter than Primo Carnera. Primo Carnera didn't understand how to keep distance. He didn't have footwork. He was more like a big mummy in a sense.
Okay.
That had the same stance.
Right.
So for us to base our attack and our fight on how Joe Louis fought Primo Carnera was faulty to begin with.
So why don't you just watch, like, he's got 56 total fights?
We did that too. We watched some of his fights
Gotcha.
with guys who were smaller. We watched the fight with him and Lehman Brewster, who in the second fight, which he won.
Okay.
But that was his first or second fight with Emmanuel Stewart, and Emmanuel Stewart wasn't even his main cornerman at the time. It was still, I think his name is Fitz Stunik. If I'm not, I could be wrong. I'm sorry, something like that. But anyway, he was. And I think Wladimir was like having issues with condition. So when Lehman Brewster stopped him, I'm not taking nothing away from Lehman. Lehman was in there giving everything, and he won and got the victory like he was supposed to get in their first fight. And Lehman ended up stopping Wladimir, but it was more on exhaustion. It wasn't on, that he, just outskilled him or outfought him necessarily. It was just that he wore him down. And that's how he lost a couple of his fights, Wladimir, was through exhaustion. But once he got with Emmanuel Stewart and he started learning how to work out and learning how to train properly, also learning how to keep that range and fight safe and fight smart, he became a whole different fighter.
Gotcha.
And that's the one I was facing.
Yeah.
So watching that fight of him and Lehman was kind of like also a bad idea because you don't want to watch fighters at their worst. You want to watch them at their best because you got to prepare for that version of them. You don't prepare for the weakest version of them, especially for whatever reason. Everybody that come to fight me was coming to fight me. So
Yeah.
I guess their confidence was at all time high with the little guy.
Maybe just right, exactly. That's what I was just gonna say. Yeah. I was gonna interrupt you saying what you were saying. No, it's
just show, Mike.
I'm the one who's sorry. So going in, you wanted to kind of get close to him, right?
Yeah,
and he kept clinching.
Well, yeah, he was
because I saw you pretty much like DDT'd him into the mat.
Yeah, because this was the thing. I said that too because I picked up Dimitrenko in the first round or think of the fight, and he looked at me crazy. So I was like, "Ooh," you could see fear in his face. Like I seen the fear. Mm-hmm. With Wladimir, I didn't see that, but I remember I heard the great Nazim say, he done watch guys fall apart after stuff like that. Like you pick them up, you know what I mean? Show them how strong you are. You throw them down. You know what I mean? You tell them, you basically tell them like, yeah, this is what it's going to be like tonight. Right. And they back up, and then they back up or they kind of curl up a little bit. But I didn't see that with him. I just saw him.
But so you were doing that more of like almost like an intimidation thing?
Somewhat. Also a warning too, because I didn't want him pushing down on my. First of all, that'll wear you out, especially with a 245 pound, 244 pound. Yeah, putting weight on your back all day. So I didn't want him doing that. So I figured I'd do that, kind of throw him down or pick him up the first time, warn him, like, hey, do it again, you're going down.
It's going to keep happening.
Yeah, and so he did it again, dumped him. I'm thinking that, I got him. Nah, he got up and was like, dust them gloves off. Get right back to work. And I couldn't shake him. I couldn't do anything to really see the fear like come in, like where he was just like, man, I don't know what to do. This guy's and in the first round, second round, I was doing good, like head movement, landing shots. I hit him up top a couple times, nice combination, like 1-2s, had success. But it's just after I slammed him in that second round, poof, he caught me with a hell of a right hand. Yeah. And that's the first time I ever
to the head or body?
Head.
Yeah.
And that was the first time I ever staggered back or stumbled back in my whole career up to that point.
Wow. And
I recovered just like that. But
did the ref stop it or you just
No. Okay. I didn't go down.
Gotcha.
I just stumbled back. I dropped not to my knees, but I dropped, how you drop down?
Gotcha.
Almost like I was doing a squat. I dropped down and then like got my balance and he rushed me through shots. I dodged a couple of them and we clinched. Right after that, I was back to normal. But it was just like a flash. And the funny thing is, the night before, I had a dream about like that. It kind of woke me up out of my sleep, like boom. Yeah. Like, not that I was in the ring with him, but it was like somebody hit me with
that same
shot.
Kind of
like
shot.
A flash, and it was like, damn. I was looking at the world without time for a second. I just saw that shit. So, but yeah, it was a crazy time. But yeah,
so
that was
him in the ring. Like, it was different than anything you had ever been up against.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It was like a bad dream, bro. Like after a while it just became at first it was like a dream. It was fun. It was not fun, but it was good. It was like a positive. And then after that it was like
that second round.
After that second round, it was just like
because now you're fighting with a little bit of like almost fear.
Not fear. No. That's one thing. I was nervous. I'd be nervous for fights and everything. But when I got in the ring, fear was gone. I was never scared.
Maybe fear is not the right word, but you're being extra cautious. And,
Yeah, even with that. Like, fear is actually a good word to use. A lot of guys get hit, and I learned this in my career. I sparred Shannon Briggs, who actually hits harder.
Yeah.
Yeah, and shit, we was in camp. Shannon could punch, man, straight up. But he threw these two shots, two of the hardest shots I ever felt. And we was in camp. We was in the gym. And I caught those two shots. And a lot of times when you get hit with something like that, it's like, yo, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I can't take that. I gotta get out of here. But in my mind, it went, yo, this dude tried to hurt me. Man, I'm gonna kill this dude. And I went in on him. We went at it. Like we was giving that work, me and him. So I realized then, and of course over time, about, I'm not scary, or I have the heart to go on, and I'll keep trying until it's over. So that's the only thing with that, because believe me, most people in my situation that felt like I felt during the fight wouldn't have been trying to figure out ways to win. They'd have been trying to figure out ways to get out of there, because it was hard.
So then obviously in the very end of the fight, like you said, kind of let your guard down just for a quick second, and then obviously it hits you with the left.
Boom.
So, like, can you just kind of explain, like, why did you let your guard down? You just thought, kind of like you said, you were going to catch the fight.
Yeah, I was just wanting to catch the punch. I was like, a lazy moment and thought. You know what I mean? It's like with basketball too. Like, you're supposed to set them up with a move, right? To get to where you want to get to your spot. And the thing is, sometimes with basketball, I do the same thing. I think lazy for a minute there. It's like, I don't want to have to do that. I want to do what I want to do. I just want to do what I want to do, get to my spot. But it don't work like that. You got to set them up. So it's the same thing in boxing. I knew what I needed to do, but I just had a lazy moment in thinking, like, man, I'm just going to catch it. You know what I mean? I already know I can see what he's trying to do. It's nothing special. You know what I mean? He threw it. I put my hand there to catch it. I kind of tightened up a little bit too much. The hand slid back. He hit me in the front, right up here. I'm going to be honest with you. The only reason why I know that is because I seen the video. Well, I didn't necessarily know. People told me about it. So, and I'm thinking like, damn, that was stupid. He kind of caught me up here in the front a little bit. It was stupid.
When you watch it, it's not, well, not the year I was, watched the whole fight and everything. It's not like a clear, it's not like you got socked. It was like hit you in a certain way when, like you said, you weren't ready for it. And
didn't see it. Turn a little bit like this, expecting to catch it. Right here.
And that was your first time ever
First
going
time
down?
ever.
Wow.
Never. Even in the gym.
Yeah, I was just going to say that, even in sparring.
Yeah. I mean,
wow.
You go down off balance, somebody push you or hit you with a shot while you lean in. That happened to me like once, you know what I mean? Twice, but never have I ever been hurt and dropped anywhere except for that time.
So, well, thank you for talking about that. I'm sure maybe it's not like the easiest thing to open up and talk about. Like,
man, that was back in 2010. But reality, it took me a while to get over. But I'm gonna tell you the craziest part of it.
What do you mean it took you a while to get over, health wise or mental wise?
No, mentally.
Yeah.
No, I mean
just like good.
Mental. The health, I was gonna take off a while after anyway. Once my I would have never even went to the hospital, which I was in the hospital for like 2 days after that.
You told me you didn't want to be.
But it wasn't about the headshot. It was about my heart, and I don't think they were used to seeing, because you know how when you're an athlete, you're in real good shape, and I was in top shape, like I'm almost super shape. So in my heartbeat was really, really slow, like low 40s at wrestling.
Wow.
So it's like I'm sitting there and they're talking like, yo, something's wrong. Like, did you take a shot to the chest when you got stopped? And I was like, no. He's like, well, why is your heart? And then they were saying it was irregular. So I'm like, so I was in the hospital. They put a catheter and everything in there. They put so they could spray the dye so they could check and make sure everything is everything. There's no blockages.
Gotcha.
I was in there for 2 days after that. But then after that, when I got home, you got money, you chilling, you can do what you want. You ain't got, it was a little bit of a depression at times. Like I couldn't be happy with anything. And I was playing like a ton of ball. But after I left the court, back into that mode, just kind of like sulking and shit. Like, you know what I mean? It was a rough time, because everything that was up could have just kept going up, but then it goes down, and it's like, damn. You know what I mean? It was a real serious thing. Physically, I was going to take 8 months. I was not 8 months. I wasn't saying it was going to be 8 months, but I was going to take a good amount of time off. I ended up taking almost a full 8 months before I even started to train again.
Wow.
Like spar again. I was training, but spar again. Like I wouldn't spar, like because I didn't want to take no punishment to the head after after that happened for a while.
So after that fight, then in 2011, your next fight, you beat Derek Rossi.
Yeah, second time.
And then in 2012, correct me if any of this is wrong too. Then you have you lose to Tony Thompson.
No, I didn't fight. We didn't fight.
Okay.
Yeah, it was. We were going to, and it was some real dirt going on then. But then I ended up hurting my back anyway, and I had to stay out the gym for a while. So that fight ended up falling apart. And that's my guy too, Tony Thompson.
Yes, I heard you mention him earlier. Yeah,
that's my guy. So,
Gotcha.
but they was trying to have us fight, talking about fighting for $15,000 on an undercard of the Super Six off TV. We were the two best heavyweights in the world at the time, next to the Klitschko brothers.
Wow.
Real shit. Like nobody was he had fought him once too, and so did I. We were two of the best heavyweights in the world, and they gonna have us fight off TV for $15,000 a piece on an eliminator. I'm like, man, y'all can go take that and do something with that. Y'all could take that and shove it up. You know what I mean? Like, and Tony was like all about it. I'm like, yeah, you can go ahead. You can do what you got to do, man. After my back was all messed up anyway, I was like, man, go ahead, take that thing, go do what you got to do.
Kind of want to ask you about like being like promoting yourself as a boxer and like the business side of everything. One, have you ever found it like, first of all, have you always been like such like, and I'm not just saying this, but like a humble and nice, that's always how you meant. Has that ever been kind of like almost a struggle? Like even now you're just kind of struggling to brag about yourself.
It's always been a struggle,
Yeah. Have you ever had to feel like you're not being your true self just to promote a fight a little bit?
I tried that, man. I really did. It's just I'm gonna be honestly just be me. I can't not be me. It's like you try to talk a little bit. Like it's easy to do it online sometimes to talk a little bit. But if it's me there physically talking, I can't.
Yeah.
I
You
can't
just keep
like
it professional and
I'm never gonna be like, yeah, I'm gonna whoop his ass. He ain't got nothing on me. What up? Right. I ain't never gonna do that. I ain't never gonna get nobody face like stare down wise, talk shit. If they start talking shit to me, I'm gonna be just like quiet. I might make a joke of it. You know what I mean?
Right.
But I'm not gonna be like that. Like I done had stare downs where dudes bust out laughing because I'll say something stupid or whatever, because it's not, to me, it's not about you. Look, we're gonna fight anyway.
Right. Exactly.
Ain't nothing you can say or do that's gonna get you out of it. And maybe go and hurt yourself or something, then you can get out of it. But you're not gonna be able to. There's nothing. So at the end of the day, we're gonna fight. I get the promotional side of it, and maybe that's why I didn't get a lot of the butts in the seats. But like I said, I'm gonna be unapologetic, man. I gotta be who I am.
Yeah, I like that. Business wise, what if you could tell? It's kind of a two-part question. If you could tell yourself, make sure you do this business wise, like looking back, and then also to maybe someone getting into boxing now, what advice would you have for them?
I would say watch everything. I would say it's hard to do, but I would say if you can find a way to manage yourself and make sure that you know all the numbers. Now, even if you do manage yourself by, actually doing it, I still would have somebody like a lawyer to look over everything to make sure that, because lawyers obviously know contracts and they're not going to miss anything when it comes to those contracts. So I would say skip the management thing, get information, as much information as you can, make connections, start seeking out certain promoters, talk to the promoters. You know what I mean? Maybe have a guy who's wise at the sport that came before you, like myself, kind of guide you into doing certain things and taking, certain steps, rather than trying to go at it and listening to one of these guys who are trying to make 6 figures off your back. Because, you know what I mean? Or make more than that off your back. And if you're a talented guy, there's going to be people that come to you and try to do that. So, it's be in every conversation that you can, even if you're not physically there, be in the conversation. Get somebody who's really, and this whole family thing, yeah, yeah, we cool, we family, man. I love you, man, like you my son or my brother or my cousin or whatever the hell. That sounds great, but those are the kind of relationships, especially when it comes to business, that kind of fall apart, and it falls apart because, oh man, you were supposed to pay me this, and man, you ain't give me enough money, man, or oh, you owe me this money, or oh man, don't worry, man, all right, you don't need that, man. You gonna let me have it anyway? Nah, it's supposed to be business.
Yeah.
If you can separate the friendship from the business or the family from the business, then we can have something we can talk about. Because then now, and this is why I say, get yourself a lawyer. He gonna get paid off of what he gets. You know what I mean, or what he does for you.
Right.
You know what I mean? I would say, pay the what's the word?
Attorney, lawyer.
Yeah, pay the lawyer, but pay him, like put him on put you on retainer. I mean, it may cost a lot for you when you're coming up, but eventually you're gonna really enjoy that. And then
retainer?
Yeah, they put a certain they get a certain hourly rate.
Gotcha.
Right?
Gotcha.
So you put on retainer, you get that hourly rate going for however much they work, right? But you can do that, and then, like I said, I have another knowledgeable guy who's an advisor. Tells you, hey man, nah, I don't like that idea. Don't fight that. Especially somebody who knows the sport from the X's and O's point. You know what I mean? I don't like the way this guy fights in this way. He's a little bit too tough at this stage for you. Maybe wait to fight this guy later. Just stuff like that.
Looking back, is there any stories where like, if I would have done this, I could have made, this much more money? Anything that you're allowed to say on?
If I would have done some of the, if I would have got the advice, no, there is a major one, and I can't believe I almost forgot this. You remember Dave? You ever heard David Hay?
Maybe. I don't think so.
You ever heard David Hay?
Dave Hay?
David Hay. He's an English fighter who started at cruiserweight, and became a big star because of his look, for one, but in shape, looked like a model kind of guy, right?
Okay.
But he could fight, and he started at a lower weight, made sure he was in shape, got in there, big puncher too, can box, and he was a good fighter. Made himself a big star, beat all of the cruiserweights that was there, not all of them. He didn't beat Steve, but he beat a few, Steve Cunningham, but he beat most of the other guys, right? Then he goes up to the heavyweight division. He was basically able to pick who he wanted to fight, because now he was not undisputed, but he was a unified cruiserweight champion of the world. So when he went up there, he was like top 10 rated already, just from the strength of being that. And he goes up and he's talking, he's running his mouth. But he went from that winning, which is not as tough as the heavyweight division and the cruiserweight division, starting to build his stardom through that. That's his credibility too. Like I dominated the cruiserweight division. Now I'm coming up here talking shit to Wladimir Klitschko, to Vitaly Klitschko. What's up? He ended up going and talking crap to both of them. Then ended up choosing to fight this other heavyweight who was 7 foot. He was a big 7 foot heavyweight because he wanted to win a title and he knew that he can beat him. And that was his way of saying, now I'm gonna be a unified. Now I'm a unified when I fight one of the Klitschko brothers. And he went from, he made like a couple million probably to fight Valuev, right? To fighting Wladimir, probably made 10.
Yeah.
Now look at me. When I fought him, I worked my behind off to get into position to fight Wladimir as a number one contender, working my way up the ranks. What do you think if I would have went down and done what he did, dominated the cruiserweight division, legitimately beat all of them, then went up there? Do you think I would have been able to get a lot more money?
Probably.
I would have won a title.
Yeah.
I would have already been a world champion, and I've never actually won a current world title. You know what I mean? Major.
It's about working smarter,
not harder. But I don't want cruiserweight champion. This is my people. I don't want cruiserweight champion of the world. I want heavyweight champion of the world. I'm like, yeah, but you putting the cart before the horse. Like we should go and do something a little different. Maybe I'll be in better shape. I'll feel better about myself. And then once I win that title, that's going to be a big part of my career that I got done before I went to the heavyweight division. But they didn't want to do it.
So now seeing you making content and stuff recently, gonna kind of jump to life after boxing now.
Yeah, I know.
So, dude, when I followed you, your page wasn't nearly as poppin'. I doing research for this and stuff. I clicked on your page, but I actually noticed like the last 3 of your posts had like almost 1,000 likes on it.
Yeah,
and I'm like, this guy's been killing it. I checked and you got like almost 30,000 followers on IG, and so what's that been like making content and trying to grow that? Hopefully this helps you get a couple followers too.
It's gonna help. I know this is, but it's a different way. But I'm starting to feel like I'm getting back in front of people again, in a way that I think. I don't want to say it's my calling over me being an athlete, but I really, really enjoy seeing people get better and seeing people learn. I mean, it's obviously you want to get money and all of that too. You want to be able to make a living when you're doing what you love. You ain't work a day in your life if you do what you love. But I really do enjoy that part of it, seeing people get better and seeing people enjoy the content and stuff like that. And I'm able to help people in a way to help them defend themselves, to help them get into boxing, interested in boxing.
Nice.
People who have never done it, like yourself. Like I say, Mike, man, come to the gym with me.
I know.
First time you.
I got to. Hey, listen, you have my word. I will be there one day.
You
have my
do
word.
It.
All right.
And I promise you, you're gonna be addicted to it. I had a basketball player dude that came in. Now he ended up finding his love for ball again. Now he back into it. My man James, he came and he was like, I'm talking about like a psycho about he being there early every day. He'd be like, yo, what do I need to do when I'm at home? Actually helped him get that love for basketball again too, because he's a pro basketball player. So,
gotcha.
but yeah, you get into it, you start learning, you'll love it.
All right. Wanted to ask about like the whole Jake Paul thing, him coming up. Like we said earlier, putting butts in seats and things like that. So, what's I guess I'll just ask you, what's your full like overall take? Now he's established himself as like a pretty good fighter. I thought that was pretty impressive, him even just getting in the ring with Anthony Joshua.
Right.
You're not like the jealous type at all, but when he first came up and he's making a lot of money and he's, only been training, he's not very good in the beginning. What were kind of your thoughts on it?
I probably would say the same as what a lot of other guys said. Man, I worked my ass off to be as good as I am, and I got really legitimately. He made more money than me in his early part of his career. Yeah. But then I look back and I thought about it. I'm like, no, why not? I'm actually loving what he's doing, and look what he's doing for women's boxing.
Yeah.
He's doing a lot for women's boxing. You can say what you want to say. MVP is doing a lot for women's boxing. Yeah. So.
Putting those cards together, that can't be easy, man.
Come on.
You know how much? I don't know how much work it is. It's
well, you can imagine.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Right. Being the brains behind this and that. Now, granted, he got help and he doing it by himself.
Yeah.
He got boxing people to really know what it is. But at the same time, to be the wallet or to be the person that you got to call if this ain't going, to come in and talk to these fighters, to get these fighters to want to sign with you. You know what I mean? Even to make these fights while he's getting ready for a fight himself.
Right.
That is not easy. So he can see. I give him credit, man. I look at what he's doing and I'm like, man, a lot of these guys are upset because they can't do it. But I bet you they get a call from Jake Paul, they'd be right in there. Because I know I would.
He definitely had a lot of haters in the beginning. I feel like it's dwindled down a lot. Yeah. I personally was never a hater. I made those first couple fights he did, I bet on him every fight. I was like, I just felt confident that he was going to win, and he did.
Smart man.
But yeah, it's interesting seeing someone that has millions of followers and they can kind of almost jump into boxing. He's everyone else. There's a lot of people that try to do it. Yeah. He's, to me, really, I can't really think of many others. The only one that's succeeded.
I mean, there's guys out there that are doing okay with it, but they're not. And this just shows you that boxing. If you can put people in the stands you can do whatever you want, and that goes to even real fight. Like I say, real fighters being disrespectful, but even guys who've been boxing forever, and that's their main claim to fame.
Right.
If they're more popular, like look at Ryan Garcia. Ryan Garcia is a good fighter, but he's not the very, very, very best. He's one of the guys. He's one of them. He's up there, but he's gonna keep getting shots because of the look, because of the
Sells
popularity.
pay-per-views.
Yeah, because he can sell. If you can sell, controversy sells. If you can sell, that's why even Devin Haney, even though a lot of people look at Devin Haney, he's not the most exciting fighter in the world, but he's really skilled. But because of the controversy with him and Ryan and him being one of the top guys at, with Tank and all of that, he's still going to get viewers.
So some random questions here to kind of round everything up.
Okay.
Is there any boxing rules that if you could change, you would change?
No gloves. No, I'm joking.
Or is everything good how it is?
I don't. It's. They've changed rules like with the rounds being 12 for the championship fight and 15. I mean, from 15 to 12. To be honest, I don't have a problem with it. I mean, it's been obviously just still deaths that are happening a lot. But I just think one of the main things I think is the recovery period. I think, especially if a fighter gets stopped, I think everyone should see the doctor, which they do, but everyone should be mandated to see the doctor multiple times, like maybe at least within the maybe 2 to 3 weeks after the fight, they should have some follow-up visits for the doctor.
Mostly for head injuries?
Head injuries, all of those things. And I think if you've been stopped, knocked out, and clearly was knocked out. Now, if you've been stopped like TKO and you quit on the stool, retired, that's something different. You can you may have a little bit, but I still think the doc should be, you know what I mean? But if you've been in like one of those knockdown, drag-out fights, but nobody was dropped, I think you still should see the doctor. I think the majority of headed, like these crazy injuries of people all of a sudden walking around after the fight, they pass out and then never wake back up. These things are because they didn't look hurt. They weren't going through any real crazy things with like their motor skills were weird. They weren't talking wild. And all of a sudden it just happened. It's because they wasn't really watched and really monitored by a doctor. After, I think, now if you've been stopped, 4 to 6 months at least, you can't spar. You can't do any contact. You should be out of the gym. Now, I know that's a long time. A lot of people are like, damn, that's a long time. Because dudes, if you seen what I seen, and you got to think when I say you can't spar, most of this damage is done in the gym. Most of this damage, when you in the fight, it's just like a culmination of it all. Finally, you see it because we see them on the night. But these dudes, man, I done probably got like 300 rounds of sparring in the camp and all that craziness. And that means I'm sparring every day.
Yeah.
Well, not every day, but it's 5-6 days a week. 5 days a week.
Right. That's
So,
crazy.
Yeah. But,
I feel like that's definitely kind of an old school thing.
bro,
And
trust me.
Something I did want to ask about, so I don't want to forget, is you trained with Team Fury a lot.
Yeah.
So
almost forgot
you and
that.
Tyson Fury are pretty
Yeah.
good friends.
Yeah, my guy.
What's it like? What was that camp like? You did actually tell me a little bit before off air about how I think it was like the hardest
Oh, yes.
thing you've ever been through. So what was training with Team Fury like?
Well, the mentality, especially when at the time it was Peter Fury was running it. His uncle was now he's working with Sugar Hill Stewart, which is a little different. I don't know. I mean, he's been successful, so you can't say that anything's a drop off. But with Peter, it was no nonsense, military type. Like he was militant. He was vicious. Kind of reminded me of my dad, but definitely a lot more calm in certain aspects. But it was the hardest training I've ever done in my life.
What was so hard about it?
It wasn't the amount of time that we spent in the gym. It was the amount of intensity.
Okay.
We trained 3 times a day. Every session was intense as you could get.
Who were some of those guys in the camp? training with you?
It was me, Tyson. My man Dave Allen was there too. But Huey Fury, Peter's son, really good fighter. And he almost won a world title himself. Couple of Isaac Lowe was there with us. I said Dave Allen already. Big Rogie was there. The guys that were there. You're not gonna. Tony Bell, you can't. Well, he wasn't training with us. We had a lot of guys come in that would spar and train with us. Tony Bell, my man too. But who else? There was so many guys that would come through, but they just didn't last, man, because they worked so hard. Mm-hmm. You know, even some of the lighters, a couple guys who were lighter weight guys that came in, they're just like, I can't handle it, man. I can't do it. I can't. This is a lot of, a lot of work. And then the sparring everything was so intense. And 3 times a day, people don't like it. 3 times a day.
3 times a day?
3 times a day, man. And all Team Fury members had to do it. Yeah. Now, the other guys are optional. If you wanted to come out and train, you can come out and train with us. You do the sprints, you can do the cardio.
Is there anything specific that you remember, like this was fucking crazy or something?
There's 3 things. Two things wasn't really us. One thing was the circuit.
Okay.
The circuit was one of the hardest things I've ever done in my life. And it was like 10 to 12 exercises, 10 reps each, but we had to do it nonstop. And it was like, it would be like, cleans, right? Cleans, like cleans. Yeah. We had to do cleans. We had to do kettle swings. We'd have to do just like the farmer's walks with the suitcase, whatever you call it, with like 125s in each hand and walk them joints. And then put them down, turn around, come back. Bro, it was, by the time I got done with it, I'm laying on I'm like, yo. Yeah. And I'd never be like that, but the circuit was major. Then we did another thing, was this military thing. It was like 15 miles. It was 14 to 15 miles. And we went, and we had to get into this shitty water.
Yeah.
Get out the water, come up, and start running. Like, we start running. So we start running. We do like every 2 miles, we had to do calisthenics. And then we got to the sand dunes, these sand dunes. Like, I got it on my IG. And none of this stuff is lies. I got it on my IG. You can see us sprinting up this hill. Sand, soft sand. The hill was like this. My foot was right near my head.
Yeah.
Bro, it was crazy. We had to do 10 sprints, then got right back on the road, boom, run down. Another 2 miles doing the calisthenics. Then we had to come to this where it was hard sand, like on the beach. And we was sprinting and wrestling and carrying 250-pound dudes on your back, sprinting. Then we end up finishing the run. After that, I was laying we was on the bus, like laying there. I couldn't move. I'm telling you, I ain't never, ever in my life worked that hard, bro.
Wow. I can't even imagine. And you had been, for you to be laying there dead like that, saying something.
First time I ever said it. I did it.
What's that?
That was the first time I've ever laid down like that after a workout. Real talk.
So I have a question here. What fight changed you the most as a person and not just as a boxer?
I think the Klitschko fight was the biggest, as far as, well, I mean, I said Klitschko fight for, really bringing me to reality and letting me know that, you could be in the highest position at one point and feel like everything is just going great and then be in the lowest position right after it. But the introduction to it was with Dimitrenko. I remember after I won the fight and then like going to because it was his birthday, which is crazy.
Yeah, I saw that. It was his birthday. You beat him on his birthday.
It's the worst thing in the world. And you know what's crazy about the Klitschko fight is I think 9 days later after the Wladimir fight was my birthday. So, and actually his birthday he's on the 25th.
Yeah.
So we got close birthday. But anyway, beating Dimitrenko and being that high and just like I said, going to the party after and like
on top of the world.
Yeah, the girls having this person, that person, everybody being super like, yo, he's the man and all that. Then going into Wladimir and like I remember showing up and looking at the limos and he got Benz. They had Benzes out there for us. Like, you get in there and it said Challenger on the side. You go to the press conference. Nothing. But we went to the Lamborghini dealer or whatever, and sitting in the cars, and they wouldn't let you test drive and all. Just doing everything for you, the man, in that moment. There was a couple days before, or the day before, could have been a couple. I think it was two days before. No, I think it was the weigh-in. Anyway, I come back to the hotel, man. There's like 300-400 people out there, just waiting to just like take pictures and talk to you, and like all at the hotel. And I'm like, there's this guy that came with me with a Bible. It was shaking like I was Michael Jackson. I'm like, dude, I was sitting there looking. This kid brought pictures. He drew. I'm like, yo, this is crazy. I've never in my life ever thought I would be able to be in the presence of that kind of like being.
People looking at you
like
that
people
way.
looking at me like I'm great or something. I'm like, I'm a regular dude. I ain't
Eddie,
nothing.
you are great, bro.
You
had a
great person.
You're a great person for one, and you had a great career. So
Well, I mean, I had a career
credit.
that could have been better. Hear me out when I say that.
Everything always could have been better.
Right.
Easy to say now.
Very. But it's like when I see these people, man, some of these girls, some of these looking at me like I'm second coming of Christ. I'm like, nah. I'm like, nah, you looking at the wrong guy. This ain't. But it just being there and being that for them, it's a high. I can see why dudes like getting the spotlight,
get a big head,
and they just lose it all, man, because it can be that.
Do you think if you would have lasted that last 20 seconds against Klitschko, what do you think the difference? Do you think that would have trajected your career in a different way? If
I didn't get stopped by him,
and
I do believe that there's certain things that would have been a little bit more. Like there's always that claim, oh, I never been stopped, I never been down, I never been this, I never been that. I could always say, yo, my rating on the game would have been better too.
Right.
But like it would have been something to be said about that. Maybe there's a few more opportunities, but and this is something that me and Tony always said. They said, man, they don't like us, man. They don't like us. We gotta get everything we get out of the mud. And he's right. Tony Thompson said it, like they don't like us. So if you could hear some of the things that they said about a guy who was one of the best fighters in the world, oh, he's boring. Jim Lampley, I'll call him out. Jim Lampley on HBO Boxing After Dark. Somebody was fighting on it. They showed a graphic of all of the top fighters at the time. I think I told you this. And they had like Povetkin, Dimitrenko. I think my man Malik Scott was in there. Chris Arreola was in it, I think. They talk about them, got nice reviews for all of them. They get to me and they say, yeah, he's 30. I had just beat Sam Peter. Just beat a dude who was just world champion and beat him convincingly, dominated him. They get to me and they say, yeah, he's 35-1, but fights with an unexciting style.
Wow. How
disrespectful. So you gonna tell you're telling the boxing public and just in general people who maybe this is the first time ever seeing a fight.
Or hearing of you.
Hearing of me.
Yeah.
All of those things together. He fights with an unexciting style. So that means don't watch him.
Right.
Even though
he's beating the top guys, outclassing them. But also, we haven't brought up like Floyd Mayweather. His fighting style was not the most exciting.
Especially, well, let's just say this. Early on, more so. But when he started getting to like, when he was Money Mayweather, it wasn't much fun to watch. For me, I'm looking and learning stuff, and he's great. Floyd Mayweather is that dude.
Well,
but
I'll say from an outsider, you're watching a whole different thing than what I'm watching. I remember being a kid and I actually fell asleep during a fight.
It's like Shakur. A lot of people want to talk about Shakur like that too. Shakur Stevenson. But these dudes are great fighters.
Right.
But there's a major difference. The amateur background is one. These dudes will talk. That's two. Like talk crap. And they have no losses.
Right.
You know, with me, I have to win every single time, which they do too. But I have to not only win, but I have to do magic tricks. When I got to make it look crazy.
I'm glad you just brought up the 0 losses because something if we're gonna compare like UFC and boxing. In boxing, it seems like if you lose, that's the end of the world for your career. In UFC, you could actually lose a fight and your stock could go up. If it was a really great fight and whatever you lost on the scorecards, like your stock can still go up. So do you think that's a huge problem with people being scared to do the big fights because I only have 15, I'm 15-0. I don't want to ruin that perfect record. So what's
it's a major thing.
Yeah, what's the solution to that? People just need to step up and not be scared of losing a fight.
Well, the good thing about losing a fight is that the bad thing about losing the fight is you lose one, it could just take you out of the game. But that also means if you win one, that could put you back in. So just as fast as you go down, you can come up. Win,
but washing off that 0 to a 1.
Oh, of course, yeah. There's it's always gonna seem. It's always going to be bad. But there are guys that started out their career, like look at Bernard. Bernard lost his first fight. You know what I'm saying? And then he goes and rattles off how many wins in a row before he fought Roy. Bernard is one of the greatest middleweights of all time. It just depends on how you take that loss and how you position yourself after. But to your point, yes, a loss is major in your career. But like I said, you can turn that L into a W if, obviously, one is how you performed in the loss, but also if you beat another guy who's supposed to be number one on Hit Parade, like he's the main guy, he's the man, and then you go after you had a loss and you get matched up with him in a situation where you're just like on the B side, like I was most of the time, and you win, where you can be right back in the good graces of him.
Yeah. Okay, my last question for you.
Oh, man.
When it's all, first of all, I'll thank you after this question. When it's all said and done, what do you want your boxing legacy to be?
Oh, man, just a really well-schooled, skilled fighter that was willing to do whatever it took to win. And had some of the best skills you ever seen. That's it. That more so that. I mean, obviously, I want people to remember me as part of the training thing too, as someone who can relay the information to the next generation too. That really can springboard some a different way of coaching. You know what I mean? Don't get me wrong. Most of the coaches are former fighters, but just have an open mind to it. You know what I mean? I think a lot of trainers is like, do what I say. You know what I mean? And they don't allow for the fighter to have a little more creativity. Me, I'm a little more open to that when I train, but I still go with the logic of being defensively responsible and throwing punches that make sense in a situation. But just those things. I know it's a lot, but
you got any people you're training right now that you want to shout out that's coming up? And
yeah, my man Ant got a fight. Anthony Muda, his name is, the Barracuda. He got a fight coming up on the 7th of March.
How old is he?
He's 26, but he's 3-0, 3 knockouts right now.
Nice.
I got a lot of my youngins in the Golden Gloves.
Okay.
They're gonna be fighting. My guys Vaughn, Ant. I can shout out who else we got that's in there. Kai, Brody. There's a lot in there. Nas, Nasty Nas. He gonna be nice too. He gonna be nice too. We got a lot of guys gonna be really just gonna destroy it when they start to when they finally make that transition to professional.
Did you ever get on Minect like I sent you?
Say it again.
The Minect thing that I
That
sent you?
is what I wanted to talk to you about.
All right, we'll talk
wait
off
till
camera
that off
about
air.
it.
I wanted to get on that. That's a big thing. But I got so many more people to shout out, and if I didn't say a name, I want to smack myself for not saying it. Man, there's a lot of guys I could talk about, man. I'm sorry. And I just talked to them at a whole CA boxing gym, man. We're about to be something special soon.
Nice. All right. I think that's it.
Yeah, man.
All right, Eddie, thank you so much for coming on.
No problem.
Dude, that was awesome getting to hear details of your career, getting to know you better. I did want to say, leading up to this, anyone that I said, oh yeah, I'm having Eddie on, oh, he's one of the nicest guys that they've ever met, and it's true. Who you see on his social media, and he's always that way. One of the nicest people I know. Thank you so much for coming on.
Not a problem.
Freestyle Pod, we out.
Break you in, then. Yeah, that's every day.